Hey everyone, Irit here with a new process video, and this one is art journaling one, as you probably understood already. So what I'm trying to show you is that I already sprayed this palette with some water, so the colors are somewhat wet and activated, and I can just dip my sponge into them. And I actually started this layout or spread in my journal because I got a request on YouTube from a viewer, and she wanted to know how I created the background on my previous art journaling video. So I decided I would show you all. And this palette that I'm using, it's just a plate. It's actually a part of my, what I like to call my psychotic watercolor palette, which is actually too large to show you, kind of to film with it on my desk. It's huge. Anyway, doesn't matter. So it has like different inserts that you can put in, and this is one of them. And I'll put a link to the company so you can see what I'm talking about. They have amazing palettes. You have been warned. Oh, I'm showing you that you can also dip your sponge just in a pan paint or like a mixing area. You don't need to have your paints set up like I have them here. So in this plate that you see in my palette, I just have some watercolor 2 paints squeezed into it, and you can see that I have a yellow orangey area, pink purple area, and then a blue turquoise area. And that helps to keep those colors from getting too muddy. And the sponge I'm using is from this set, Natural Sea Sponge set, that I got from Jackson's Art Supplies in the UK, where I get most of my art supplies. You can find a link in the description box. And yeah, that's it. You saw how simple it was. So what, we're 2 minutes into the video, and this is only it's not even 2 times sped. It's not even like double time. So this is very, very fast. You can cover a large area with these sponges, and you get different sponges in this pack, and then you can get a different texture. So I know some people use them to create like clouds or something in a landscape, but I use them like this and it's a lot of fun. You know, depending how watery your paint is, you will get a different look. And yeah, and I couldn't stop there, so I thought, hey, why not keep going? And then I added some shapes, and then I brought in my pencils, and I'm doing some tone-on-tone sketching here. This is my idea of fun. Not overthinking things, just adding color to my pages here. So this journal, I am loving it, I have to say. This journal is by Stillman and Byrne, which you probably heard me talk about them in many other videos. They just have a huge variety of journals, and this one in particular is the 8x10 size. It has a soft cover, and it's from the Alpha series. The Alpha series has white cold press heavy weight paper, so it handles watercolor pretty nicely. It does buckle. It buckles a lot, but that gives it kind of that crinkly quality to it. If you use a lot of water like I am, if you do more urban sketching, I think I also mentioned that in another video, then you probably don't use as much water and it won't buckle as much, but it does buckle. If you don't want buckling, get the Beta series. The paper is heavier. I wanted to try this, so I have one journal with from the Alpha series, and I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, the paper crinkles, so if that bothers you, then I recommend a heavier weight paper. So I was playing around, and then I thought, maybe I can use one of my printables. So these printables you saw just a bit before now in the video, they are a part of my rewards to my patrons on Patreon, and so this month I offered them 2 A4 or letter size sheets of printables, and that's what I'm using. So I printed mine on a bunch of different papers, and so you can see I have a transparency there, and actually I planned to use the transparency as what do you call that? Oh, I can't, the word escaped my mind. You know, the thing you put in your planner like between other pages or something. Oh, I can't remember it right now. It'll drive me crazy. Dashboard. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, brain. So I thought I was going to use it like a dashboard or something in my planner. Is that the word? Now I'm doubting myself. Oh no, doubt. But then I was just holding it, you know, next to my journal there, and I loved how it looked, you know, because it's a transparency, so you can see all the layers behind it. I just loved it. So I decided I'm going to use that. And I also used my, I guess, title for this is Follow the Rainbow. And that part is printed actually on sticker paper. So it's really nice, you know, for art journaling and planners because it's not thick paper. However, if you're working on like a crinkly surface like I am, the sticker paper, you know, glue is not, the adhesive on it is not super strong. So it's great if you're just gluing it on a piece of like regular paper, but my paper here is all wrinkly from the watercolor. So just make sure it's glued down nicely. And now comes the part, how do we adhere transparencies to our spread? Because many glues show up through the transparency. So I'm showing you how I did this. I just added stitching. A simpler way if you don't have a sewing machine, and I'm just showing you how I yeah, the stitching, and I don't mind that you can see it on the next pages. I actually like it. So I have black thread in my machine, and then the bobbin is pink. And I love using black thread lately, love it. So another way would be to use something like washi tape, and then you can also just adhere the transparency like on one side and or on all sides, but washi would also work if you don't want to use adhesive. And that's it. And I think the most fun part of making this, I mean, it was all fun, but the most fun was the part now, because now I feel like I have these elements on my page that are kind of the focal point, and I can totally add more paint around them and yeah, just add more detail and have more fun and a bit more contrast. So you'll see that mostly I'm adding some darker, more intense colors at the bottom of these pieces, just to give it more dimension, I guess, and more interest, because until now, you know, the whole background was pretty light, and there's not a lot of contrast here. There's not a lot of there's not like a focal point until I added all these bits and pieces. And I have to say that working with printables has been so much fun. And I'm telling you this not just, I think I also mentioned that in my previous video. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I get excited when something, you know, excites me, so I want to share it. So I highly recommend that if you have an art journal, take a picture of a few pages that you like, or scan them if you have a scanner. But you know, the phones are so good today, you could totally get a great image with your phone or camera or something, and print it. So upload it to your computer or send it directly to your printer and print it on, I don't know, whatever paper you want. You can use cardstock, regular paper, transparencies, sticker paper, and use that in your art. It's so much fun. I don't know, everything is just faster because it's like some of the work is already done for you, and it's just so interesting, and you can build, you know, use your art again, like repurpose it and enjoy it more. I don't know, it's been such a fantastic experience. I'm really looking forward to creating February's printables for my patrons, and yeah, just because I'm excited to create stuff with them myself. And I hope that you will try this, use printables, your own or someone else's. And you can also use like newsletter clips, like newspaper prints, or cut that. I've tried that before, but it never really clicked for me. For some reason, I don't know, I have a problem I do like using photos as focal points, kind of make like a scrapbook layout in my art journal. But somehow I don't like using an image that I didn't create, either a photo that I took or something that I drew. That's just my personal thing. People make gorgeous, gorgeous art journals with, other people's stuff in it. So just me. Here's some close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you feel inspired. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.